Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am doing a quick video to show you the damage that root knot nematodes cause. I'm living here in central North Carolina, Zone 7, in a former tobacco field. Yeah, this whole property is all sand. That's why I rely on Soil Cube for all of my gardening needs. And even though my beds are raised above grade, the nematodes, which are really microscopic organisms that are left over from the many years of monoculture tobacco that was cultivated on this property, they just move right up through the soil profile and they get into the roots of countless plants. Typically, they really start to show their damage at this time of year when the soil is really warm. And, as the days are starting to wane, the plants just start looking like all of a sudden really sick. And now that I've been here 10 years, I know exactly what those signs are. So I know just to rip the plants out because there's no amount of water or fertilizer that's going to revive these things at this point. Now, root knot nematodes are an issue that are relatively specific to the Southeast. However, they can occur in other parts of the country. For those of you growing in like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, nematodes are a massive problem and they infect a ton of things, not just edibles. I've actually lost things like green giant arborvitaes and oak leaf hydrangeas because of nematode infestations. But today what I want to show you is what nematodes look like when they get into the root zone of yellow squash. So let me turn the camera around so that you can see. Here you have it. I often describe it as like a string of pearls. The roots, you can see these nodules go all parts of the root tissue, especially congregated up near the stem. And they usually don't come above ground, but you see there's nodules like right at the soil surface. And you can totally understand how they basically clog the vascular system. They prevent xylem and phloem from being able to flow through the plant's tissue. And this is what they look like. This would have had a much larger root system through the summer, but the nematodes come in and they just kind of rot it off. You can see where tissue broke when I was pulling it out of the ground, and that's because, it's just kind of rotten. It's squishy. Here we have another one. And you can see this really did a trick. I mean, look at that crazy root system. And you can't see the nematodes. They truly are microscopic. I actually really wish that I had a microscope to be able to see what they look like. So all these years of growing with nematodes, I've actually never seen them like from my own eye. I've seen pictures online. But this is really common. It's pretty much happens to almost everything this time of year. So squash, okra. I'll show you some okra plants that are absolutely infected with nematodes. You see they've lost all their oomph. Like a lot of the leaves have fallen off and they're not fruiting very much. And that's absolutely, the cause is absolutely the roots are filled with nematodes. In fact, I'll go ahead and pull this one out so that you can see it. All right, good thing is nematodes don't bother sweet potatoes, and these Treasure Island sweet potatoes are just doing everything they were supposed to do. Well, they're just getting started in here. I'll show you up close. The nodules are actually just forming. So you can see here, the nodules are really just starting to form on this. So I actually caught it early. No big loss. The plant wasn't really looking great. You can see some root knot nematodes forming here. Probably 2 weeks from now, this, would be completely full of nodules. Most of these small feeder roots would probably have rotted off. So there we have it. It's root knot nematode season. So nematodes can actually also come right up through the surface, and that's why I always have pots sitting on like concrete blocks or bricks, because I've had lots of container plants that though they had a saucer underneath them, and this really doesn't make sense to me, but it's true. I had a saucer sitting on the ground and then the pot inside the saucer, and nematodes actually got into the pot. So I don't have an explanation as to why or how, but it did happen. And you know, I don't think that they can come up through concrete, but you know, I wouldn't rule it out. Nematodes are really capable creatures. So living here, it's just something that I have to deal with. I'm not going to stop gardening because of nematodes, and there aren't really any logical treatments for it. You know, they used to like treat fields with really harsh chemistries to kill them. That's not an option for a home gardener. And there are some beneficial nematodes that will attack the root knot nematodes, but because my entire property, and frankly all of my neighboring properties, have nematodes on them, that just doesn't feel like a realistic approach for management, and it's very expensive. So I'm not doing anything. I'm just gardening with them, and that's really the best advice I can give. Just set your expectations a little bit differently, and don't get terribly disappointed when you have plants that underperform, because it's not your fault. It's really the problem of past land use, and there's nothing that you can do about that now except not create monocultures and grow the same crops in the same place for 60 years in a row, very specifically tobacco. I think we've all learned to do better than that by 2021. So if you found this video to be helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that bell notification so you'll know when I post more videos. And thanks so much for watching, everybody.